Now that the shadow colours have dried, I can start to draw some detail onto the painting. And to do that, I've changed brushes. And I've moved from a medium brush to a smaller brush. And to start off with, I'm using a mixture of ultramarine and burnt umber to paint in the eaves of the house. Again, every now and again, leaving just a tiny little flash of white paper showing through, just using the tip of the brush to create that little ridge where there's just a little bit of wood built on that stood out. And it's now the architectural details that we're picking up, drawing with this small brush. I can go back to the shadow mixture and start to refine some of the shadows, which will in turn define many of the parts of the building. I'm going to start to suggest one or two of the planks of wood, pure suggestion that there is something running across the main shape of the building. And already we can see the building is starting to take on an extra three-dimensional form now as we go from light to medium to dark shade. And these 3 degrees of shadow really aid the original drawing and enhance the whole effect of structure, making the building look a lot stronger and a lot more solid. And this really is the time where you now sit back and look at your picture critically and say, have I got the right shadows in the right place? Are they the right tones? Leave it for a little while to dry and then really start to work on some of the drawn detail that will make the building not just a structure, but somebody's home. Part of the structure, we have to visually anchor the building onto the ground. And what I'm doing is applying a wash, again using very broken brush strokes, of what we tend to call palette mud. Now, as I've been mixing up the paints during the course of this picture, a lot of water's run and it's picked up lots of the raw sienna, the burnt sienna, the alizarin crimson, the sap green, and at the bottom of my palette it's all run together, creating a very warm foreground colour, and I'm going to use that to suggest the colours on the road and the path. And lots of water, lots of broken brush strokes, lots of little flashes of white paper to indicate the mood of the day and the fact that the light was bouncing from the road at the time. And now I need to look at the way that the shadows fit onto that foreground and the way they visually lead us right in to the structure of the building itself. Working onto wet paper because I don't want a hard line over on that background section. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow toning onto that. And working onto the foreground, I'm going to emphasise the actual shadow that was cast from the building opposite. Working into damp paper so we're not getting an even coating of that shadow colour, which will give us a little bit more liveliness to it. And just reinforcing that colour as it runs over there. And just reinforcing the shape of the shadow, which is in reality the buildings opposite that are casting the shadows on this particularly strong day. With very strong light just falling across there just a little bit more. Because we're forever, as artists, making judgments and assessments about our work. Have we actually got the shadows in just the right place? Have they shifted? Will they shift during the course of a picture? And just really making those adjustments that give us the very picture that we want. Which brings me back in many ways to my original point, that what we're doing is creating a painting of a building with quite a bit of us in it. So the judgments as artists that we make are very valid and must form part of your picture. Well, I think that shows just how easy it is to achieve a sense of 3 dimensions and structure by applying paint to a drawing.
Now available on DVD. Try these techniques yourself at home whenever you wish. The extended version of today's workshop is now available to order on DVD from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.